All right, all you snowboarders of the internet. Sorry, we're about 5 minutes late. Some dumb motherfuckers don't understand that the left lane is for passing and the right lane is for slow motherfuckers. So, yeah, little late. Peace Park opened this week up at Copper, and I'm not gonna lie, I didn't want to stop riding today. I was having a fucking field day riding it's New Year's Day. Rode the Peace Park. If you make it to Copper, definitely go ride the Peace Park. And they've got other Peace Parks, I think, on the East Coast. There's another one at Boreal. So if you get a chance, definitely check out the Woodward Peace Parks. So there we go. Anyways, Happy New Year to you all. We're here. It's 2020. Barbara Walters is still alive, so we're obviously doing well with that. If you have questions, put them in the live chat box over to the right or the bottom if you're on your mobile device, and I will gladly answer them. All right. Anyways, I see some of you guys have survived the holidays. Hopefully you're not too hungover and you're drinking your Pedialyte. All right, yeah. And bottled and corked. Barbara Walters still being alive is weird as fuck. I haven't even heard her name in a decade at least. Well, she's alive. And she's still talking like, Barbara Walters, this is 2020. So there you go. Water bottle. You got any advice for a 15-year-old child who is horrid at snowboarding but loves to do it? Just ride more. I love little kids that are awful at snowboarding but just love it. The more they ride, the better they get. Also, make them watch every snowboard edit from the last 20 years. Just everything. Every movie, everything. So, yeah, there we go. All right. Let's see. What do we got going on here? Jacob Gravitt, have you ridden the Arbor A-frame 170 watt? No. Kevin's ridden the new A-frame. I haven't. He says that thing is fucking phenomenal, but the 170 wide, that's a huge bitch. That is a big motherfucking board. Yeah. Let's see. What do we got going on here? Joseph Zachenko, what are your thoughts on the now bindings? So I like now bindings. I really, and I've talked about this in previous live streams. This always seems to be a question that comes up, but the now skate tech is phenomenal because you get that drive from toe to heel a lot better. So when the toe goes down, the binding is actually pulling up on the heel, which is going to put more pressure to the toe edge. And the same thing when you go down to the heel edge, it's going to push the toe edge up and drive into it. Now skate tech actually makes sense. I like the bindings. They don't fit all boots, and you have to make sure that you get the chassis that fits the wider boot if you got a wider boot, or a narrower boot if you've got a narrower boot. So if you're really looking at it, but overall, I think now really does make a very solid product, and they are a very, very awesome binding company. I actually, before I went to the Rome Black Label this year, I was actually debating going to Now Bindings specifically for all my review testing and whatnot. All right. Let's see what else we got going on here. Cameron Richardson, thoughts on United Shapes as a brand? I fucking love United Shapes as a brand. I love their shapes. I love their marketing. I love how they're doing it. It's different. They're not a big, like, look at me, this is my fucking brand, and we're going to choke it down. It's like really awesome powder carving, directional shapes. The boards are built really well at GP87 in China. You know, they have solid engineering from my friend Eric Luthart. So just really, really solid boards. They hold a great edge. They're phenomenal to ride. If you get a chance to get on one, do it. I do have a few reviews of some of their models in the Snowboard Reviews playlist. So check that out. Let's see what else we got going on here. Looks like you guys are definitely struggling through New Year's Day. Someone made some questionable decisions, so that's your choice. Let's see. What do we got here? Brian Mullane, 6'2", 240 pounds, size 13, intermediate rider. Want a free ride board for groomers and chunder. No park. Super Pig has my eye because of soft reflex. Would Mountain Pig or Captive Warp Speed be too stiff? So in order of flex, it will be Super Pig, Mountain Pig, Warp Speed. At 240 pounds, you are definitely going to flex those boards way different than I did at 200 pounds. So you got an extra like 40 pounds on me there. So you're going to drastically flex those different. As an intermediate rider, I would definitely not ride the Mountain Pig. I think the side cut is just a little too aggressive and hooky for someone that isn't as experienced, but the Super Pig would be a little bit better. So that. Now, as far as the warp speed, that board rode me hard and put me away wet. Like that board took a lot out of me. Like yeah, that board fucked me up. I'm just gonna be honest. I fucking hit a tree, then another tree, then another tree. Yeah, that board was just too much board for me. I think the Super Pig would probably be the safer bet for you. Charles Schnake, what's up? I picked up the Union Atlas per your suggestion to go with my 53 Orco. What's your take on angles? I'm thinking about transitioning away from duck footed to something like 18 positive 3. So here's the deal. If you're used to riding duck, your alignment, like your muscle memory, is going to be that of a duck foot. So your hip flexors are where you're going to really feel it when you start to bring it in. What I would suggest, instead of going full positives like that, start bringing it in slowly through the season towards what you ideally would like to get it to. So that way you can slowly retrain your hip muscles and your body's anatomy to align with that. Hopefully that makes some sense for you, bro. Charles. Let's see. Let's see what else. Incognito, have you been on the new Rosnell trick stick? If so, what did you think? That board hasn't changed since the last time I reviewed it, if I remember correctly. So there should be a review of it from like 2 years ago. I think it's even in the Rosnell snowboard review playlist. If not, it's in the snowboard review playlist. But the trick stick is super soft and super flexible and just easy to throw out. It's a jib stick through and through. Like if you're riding a small little hill and you just want to like send every side hit and roller, good. It's great in the park for jibbing jumps. Not so much. I mean, like small, medium, like anything over 15 feet, you're going to start to have issues with it because it's so soft and playful. So, yeah. Let's see. Okay. Oh, we got a bunch of questions today, which is awesome. All right. So we're going to go with this one from Zane Clark. Which snowboard would be the best for me? Someone who likes to send medium to large jumps while still jibbing around. I have my eye on the Burton Freethinker, Capita Outsiders, Ride Burnout, or DC Ply 156. So let's go. You're going to ideally want something with a little more stability in it. So that is going to probably rule out the Ply for you. Like I love the Ply, don't get me wrong. But on bigger jumps, it doesn't lock in. If you're a heavier rider, I mean, if you're like ultra lightweight, you'd probably be fine. But if you're a heavier rider, it's not going to lock in on the landing as much as you would like. Now, if we're talking about stiffness, it would go Burnout, Freethinker, Outsiders, Ply in that order. Ideally, out of those four, I think the one you want is the Capita Outsiders. That's going to have the best probably spectrum from medium to large jumps, but still able to jib around on. Then it would go Freethinker, then the Burnout. I'm kind of ruling the Ply out here just because like larger jumps, it tends to not be as solid as it could be. So hopefully that answers your question. Next question comes from Vincent Dew. Happy New Year. How would the now IPO binding pair well with the Battalion Goliath, or should I just keep my Nitro 0 for some park free ride as I'm 90 kilograms? So the IPO will actually match fairly well to the Goliath, in my opinion. The only thing is now you got a binding that's got a rocker plate on it. So basically you're going to drive down and then you're going to hit that 3BT and then that's going to drive down. So you got a lot of motion to get that board up on edge going into that. So that's something that you really need to consider. Otherwise, the IPO is a solid all mountain binding that will match with the Goliath's flex pattern. So you can go with that. Let's see what we got going on here. Brett Logwood, when you hit some smaller resorts in January, can you post your opinion or experiences at those resorts? Might help some of us decide whether we want to visit them. So what we're ideally trying to do, and while I was in New York for Christmas, I fiddled around with figuring out how I want to film this. But the goal is to do like a little spot check, like maybe a 3 to 5 minute video maximum, but it'll probably end up being like a 2 to 4 minute video. But it's going to be a quick breakdown of the type of runs you get, the terrain, the cost of the lift tickets, what the local community is nearest to there, and kind of just do a little quick overview of like what it is, because it'll probably be like an in and out to these small resorts, but that's kind of what we're working towards. I gotta edit a test one and redub the audio and stuff, but once I do that, I think this will become something that in the fall you would probably see. I'm not sure if I'm going to drop them this year. I probably won't. Let's see what we got going on here. Brett Weisner, is there a benefit to buying a now O-Drive for a little more money over the Jones Apollo? If I remember correctly, there's like a little difference. It's either in the strap or the material in the chassis. But in my opinion, no. Those bindings are so close to the overlap that if you can save a couple bucks, I would do it, and then take that couple bucks and throw it to buying more lift tickets so you ride more. All right. Brandon Adkins needs some bindings for a 156 wide board that's all mountain, 80-20, so 80% mountain, 20% park. I'd go with something like the K2 Formula, the Ride Rodeo, the Union Atlas, the now IPO, or even the Drive if you want something a little stiffer. With Burton, I would go Cartel or Genesis. Genesis if you obviously want a little stiffer and a different strap on that. Maybe even, I think it's the Magnum from Fix might be another possible contender for you. All right. Let's see what else we got going on here. Let's see. Great American Buffalo. Did it feel good to verbally abuse a disabled child named Jonathan Buckhouse? Does it ever feel good to have to put someone in their place when they fucking step out of their lane? Yes. Yes, it does. He got the answer that he wanted. So in case anyone watching this doesn't understand, we did the 20 question podcast. Jonathan Buckhouse, YouTuber, vlogger, wannabe snowboard influencer, Amazon discount gear horror, asked me if Amazon brands were hurting snowboarding. I took it upon myself to explain to him how he is actually hurting snowboarding as a whole and how he's hurting you snowboarders as a whole by recommending these shit-ass Amazon goggles. And I waited about 10 days to respond to any comments that he made in the video, mainly because I was on vacation and I had shit I needed to get done before then to benefit all of you guys, which you got 2 Can Kevin Carvets, 2 top 5s from that, and a few other videos while I was gone. So you actually didn't even know I was on vacation, even though I wasn't even answering comments. No, it didn't. I don't like having to put people in their place when it isn't deserved. In his case, it was actually deserved. And to go along with that for everyone, I just spent over $200 buying a shitload of crap-ass Amazon goggles from all the main sponsored ones on there so that I can cut them in half and show you how shittily they are built from their frame to their lens. I also bought a high-powered laser so that I can run it through the lens to show you what the distortion looks like in them. I do not like having to spend money on shit I'm going to completely destroy and add waste to this planet, but fuck it. You all need this, and it's going to help you. And as snowboarding superfan Alan Russell said to me, Angry Snowboarder, snowboarding's leading foremost expert on consumer protection. That's probably going to be our slogan for 2020 now. So, yeah. Basically, if you believe anything that comes out of Jonathan Buckhouse's mouth about snowboarding, you don't know shit about snowboarding. That guy didn't even ride like a cambered snowboard until 3 weeks ago. And if you watch the video of him trying to ollie on it, it's sad and depressing. Like, it made me want to kill myself. I already want to kill myself because I've had 23 concussions. So anything that makes me want to kill myself more is even more sad and depressing. Anyways, probably just got this whole thing demonetized because I just talked about suicide. So yeah, hopefully, yeah. So yeah, anyways, let's see what we got here. Adam Kowal, don't you get pissed when people ask you for an opinion on the board you reviewed a few weeks earlier? So this is the way I look at it. YouTube has a tendency to bury anything after about 48 to 72 hours. And if the person missed that, I get it. They missed it. I try to give them the link to it, or I tell them that it exists. They can go do it. Then if they leave a comment, but hey, they're at least doing research and due diligence to try to find it. It doesn't really bother me. But I'm going to tell you guys what does fucking bother me because I'm back from vacation. And this is story time with fucking Uncle Averin. So Monday the 23rd, I went riding at Holiday Valley with my good friend Jordan that I grew up with. I have not snowboarded at Holiday Valley in Western New York with him in 15 years. I have not snowboarded with him in over, or probably close to 10 years. Now, I'm not going to talk about when I fucking ran the skier over earlier in the night. That's a story for Angry Late Night. So you guys will, for the late night live stream, get a story about me running a skier over last week. It was fucking amazing. It's a great story. I can't wait to tell you that. But no. So after riding Holiday Valley, we proceeded to go to the Depot, one of my favorite restaurants right across the street from Holiday Valley. I used to work for Moose, the owner of the Depot. I know his family very well. I haven't had a pizza from there. It's one of my favorite places to get pizza in Western New York. I just love their pizza, the wings, the atmosphere in there. So I walk in with Jordan and we sit down, and as we are sitting there, this kid who I've never seen before is like mouth open staring at me, and I was like, oh, fuck, this kid recognized me. Nothing wrong with being recognized. I don't have a problem with that, but there's a time and a place, and this is what this story is actually about and why I don't like things. So he comes over and he's like, hey, man, do you do YouTube videos? No, but my twin brother Averin does, because that's how I like to greet these things. Oh, were you sure, man? And he's just talking, and mind you, I'm trying to order food and hang out with a friend of mine that I'm lucky if I get to see every couple of years. I've been very blessed this year to be able to hang out with him twice. So I'm sitting there, and he's not reading my body language, not paying attention to me. And he pulls his phone out, and he goes, no, it's you. And he has a photo of me on his fucking phone. He does not know my name, but he says he's a fan, but he does not know my name. And we all know that I tell everyone my name, that I am Averin. I run Angry Snowboard. So anyways, I'm sitting there, and so, man, I really like LibTech snowboards. Cool. I'm fucking hungry, and I've ordered food. Like, food is coming. I'm going to eat, and I don't want to be interrupted. And he's sitting there, and he's just chirping and not realizing that I just don't give a fuck. And so finally, I have to look at him, and I'm like, hey, man, I'm going to be really rude right now, but I'm going to tell you this. There's a time and a place for this, and this is my friend Jordan, who I have not snowboarded with here in 15 years. This is my favorite restaurant that I've not had a pizza from in 10 years. I was like, I've ordered a pizza. I'm with a friend. I get that you've got questions, but there is a time and a place for this. So I want you to understand, that this is not the place for this. I'm on vacation. I'm trying to take some time away so that my mental sanity is better. Oh, okay, man. I'm okay. Yeah, I guess. Oh, okay. Looks at his girlfriend. Well, he's kind of he's being kind of rude. Like, I mean, he's literally like this far from me, and he's saying this, and I was like, fucking look at him, and I was like, look, man, have you ever seen your favorite celebrity at a restaurant eating food, and they got spaghetti and meatballs in their mouth? Do you go over and just shove your hand in their fucking face and start asking them questions? And he's like, well, no. And I was like, okay, it's rather uncouth, and it's kind of rude, and you're crossing a line. Not cool. And I don't really care that you want to know about like some board I reviewed or anything like this. Like, leave me a comment. Send me an email. Do this. But go do your fucking research. Like, you could do your research. Like, this would have been an hour-plus conversation with this kid. My food would have been cold. My friend would have had to leave to go pick up his kid. I wouldn't be able to see him until who knows now next time. That's what fucking bothers me more than anything. And to go along with this, while I was still in New York, the first day that I went, that I was back, they got 14 inches, and so I went over to the valley to ride, and I was yelling at people all day to lean back in the pile because they were fucking bomb holing it. And I'm pretty sure I was yelling at this one kid. But anyways, about midday, this kid comes up to me and he's like, "Hey, Averin, just wanted to say thank you for recommending me the Taos / This board kills it. It's been an amazing board. I know you're on vacation. Enjoy your stay. Have a good day. Just want to say thank you." I gave him a high five, told him thanks for being a fan, and that was it. Like, that was awesome. Like, didn't interrupt me, knew I was in the zone, knew what was going on. This other kid, fucking clueless as fuck, crossed the fucking line. Like, there's a fine line, and like, I don't have a problem with people that don't understand. I reviewed something like a week or two ago. Like, I'll be like, yeah, go check it out. What I have a problem with is people invading my personal space and being so fucking obtuse to the fact that the information they're actually looking for, I've already given them, and they don't want to do it. So, yeah. All right. Anyways, hopefully that answers your question. But yes, later tonight, Angry Late Night, I will talk about the skier I killed the day before Christmas Eve. And I'm pretty sure he's fucking dead, which, no loss. All right. Drew Weisner with the super chat. Brian with some new friends this year who hit the park and need to start learning to hit rails and boxes. I'm 6'3", 190 pounds, and advanced carving. What board for an older guy learning more park? Well, you're saying you want to hit more rails and boxes, and you're 6'3". I'm going to assume you probably have like a size 10 boot or more. What I would go with to make it really easy on you is an Arbor Westmark rocker, because you can still carve with it when you need to, but it's going to be playful with that reverse camber, so you can really lean back or forth on it and get into a press, and that'll teach you the dynamics of how to get your weight over the back foot. Granted, you really should learn on camber, but you're older. We're going to be a little more forgiving for you, and so hopefully the Arbor Westmark. And to correlate or to go along with that, if you want something else that's maybe camber but an easier pressing, DC PBJ, DC Ply would be another good one. Or you could check out maybe like a Capita Horoscope would be good. The K2 Worldwide Weapon is always a solid one. So that should give you a few options there. All right. C-Ron with the super chat. And then he asked the question, curious, how do you detune your board? I don't. I actually don't detune my boards. I rip them right out of the wrapper, throw the bindings on, and I just go, because that's like as factory setting as you can get when you're testing stuff. So I don't detune. My stuff that I personally own, I detune it by hitting rocks. And I'm not joking. I literally fucking hit rocks. Like, I destroyed my Endeavor archetype the other day. I put a gouge like this long and like that wide just right through the base. Yeah. And then I horribly filled it with P-Tex, like not in a good way. So, yeah. All right. Sean Sheeling with the super chat. So Kev likes the Roma Ravine. I believe it was for Red Dead. What's your take? 6'2", 170, size 13 boot, like trees, carving, jumps, side hits, as much as my old knees allow. Think directional, maybe directional twin. So I love the Ravine. That is a solid board. Like, definitely a very solid Rad Dad board. Kevin loves it. I love it. The only issue I would have is that size 13 boot. I don't know. At 170, you'd be looking at like the 156 to 159 range, maybe even the 160. But that 13, you're probably, even though it's a little bit wider, I think you're going to boot out, because I don't know off the top of my head if there is a wide for this or not. So double check on that. It's a great board, but I think your boot width is going to limit you, and you might benefit more from like a Ride Super Pig. Just throwing that. I love the Ride Super Pig. Super Pig's amazing. Or you might even like the Telos Backslash too as well. So there's some other options for you. Hopefully that answers your question. Let's see. What do we got going on here? Kale Mitchell, most overrated resort in Colorado. Keystone, fuck that place. If it burned to the ground, the county would be a better place. I fucking hate it. It gets the weakest fucking snowfall in the whole county. Like A-Basin, 14 inches. Keystone, -3. How the fuck does that happen? Because the way the lake is, the way the wind blows, and the way the mountain sits. It's always fucking icy as shit there, because it's always in the fucking shade until the goddamn spring. Also, every dumb fuck from Denver that can't fucking shred, but I love big mountains. I love Keystone. It's a fucking mess. Talks about it. That place sucks dicks with its butthole. So, yeah. Keystone. Fucking horribly overrated. Over it. Let's see what's going on here. Let's see. Jake XSV. Out west, would you say groomed runs are very level, even, horizontally side to side, that is? Never been, but that's what it looks like for most videos. And if it's true, is it like that on the East Coast? Okay. There is a big difference from perfectly groomed corduroy on the East to perfectly groomed corduroy on the West. Mainly, I'm pretty sure everyone on the East is drunk while they're grooming, just like drunk. So when you go to a mega resort or anything owned by like Altera, Powder Corp, Vale, like the consistency in the grooming is pretty much solid. Like there's always an overlap where the where the groomer comes, and you might see a little bump, but if they're really good, it's consistent. The only time you notice it being inconsistent out west is when it's lumpy mashed potato snow in the spring, because they groom sometimes before the sun's gone down, so they groom and then it like melts and it gets uneven. Or sometimes they started grooming before the sun went down and then after when it's freezing, so it's like you'll see where it just does like this whoop. On the East Coast, all bets are fucking off. Like you got a guy that's probably like a woodcutter or something, or a construction guy, and then he's just doing this for the winter while he's laid off from doing construction, and he's a 30 rack deep of some Jenny Cream Ale or like Jenny Light or some shit, like really shit beer, like shit beer, like Milwaukee's Best, like really. So he's fucking drunk as shit, and he's out there and he's just grooming and shit. Like he might drop half the blade and just like dig it in, and there's a fucking trench. You never know what you're gonna fucking get on the East Coast. It is the most inconsistent grooming I have ever experienced in my life. So yeah. All right. Let's see what else we got going on here. Let's see. Cherry Park. I just got the Super Pig for East Coast riding. Is it normal for there to already be a lot of scratches in the base around the edge chipping off? No, that sounds like you got one that was returned, or it's a factory second. Like if you haven't ridden it yet and it's already scratched and shit, that means it was probably ripped out of the wrapper and thrown around somewhere. Email me some photos of it and let info@angrysnowboarder.com. I'll take a look at it and I'll get back to you. But yeah. So Thomas Saint, which boards would you recommend for dudes with giant feet? So Skunk Ape, Stump Ape, Marhar Sasquatch, Ride Super Pig, Mountain Pig, Twin Pig, War Pig, K2 Party Platter, K2 Cool Bean, Capita Warp Speed, any of the Jones stuff in wide, like the Storm Chaser or the Flagship in wide. Like you got a lot of options. And actually what I'm doing, what you're going to see in the next few top fives, hopefully, like I gotta finish up the lists on that, is I'm actually going to do some stuff for really big guys and big-footed riders. That's part of Saturday's big project, is sitting down, making those lists, filming them, getting them edited and uploaded. Let's see. Let's see what else we got going on here. Let's see. Steve Doobie, Averin, you told me to get the 147 Orkin. I was concerned it would be too short. I took it on a foot pow today, and it was amazing. You're doing God's work. P.S. The Eurocarves Yo sticker is amazing. Well, I'm glad that you realize you can actually ride a shorter board when it's that wide, and it's life-changing for you. I don't know if I'm doing God's work. I don't really believe in gods unless it's Cthulhu, because he's going to kill everyone, and I'm okay with that, because that'll be the end of the world, and the end of the world will just be a very peaceful time for me. Honestly, really, seriously, I'm waiting for an apocalypse scenario. I will thrive. I will make a throne out of the skulls of my enemies. It will be fucking amazing. Can't wait. Yes. All right. Brian Price, I just moved to Winter Park earlier this year, and I'm serious curious as to why you say you hate it. My old lady made me come up here, so no judgment. Are you a gay cowboy? So Winter Park is the town sucks. The town just fucking sucks. You're fucking out there, and there's nothing good there. The people that live there and have lived there their whole life are fucking weird. They're like Leadville people weird. The mountain sucks. Mary Jane's steep and fucking moguls. The Winter Park side's flat as fuck and has that weird cat track that loops around it. The park's whack as fuck. I swear to God, everyone's on fucking meth out there. It's just, that mountain is just not, I've never had a good day there. It has never been fun. They tried to tell me I had to go watch a video to go ride the park. I was like, what the fuck? What? No, I'm not watching a fucking video. I'm not giving you 40 minutes after I have a lift ticket that I paid for to go fucking sit there and watch it. My time is worth more than that. So, yeah, no. Fuck Winter Park. Winter Park and Keystone. Two resorts that just suck. Okay. Let's see what else we got going on here. All right. Brandon Edkins, what's up with that Chamonix brand that the house is doing? So it's a price point brand. It brings it in-house to the house, so their profit margins are way higher. So like some of those boards, they're probably paying like max 125, but it's probably less than that because they're buying in bulk. They're probably paying sub $100, and for what they're selling it, it's just a huge profit margin. The bindings are just cheap open mold bindings. The boots are cheap open mold boots. The outerwear, it's all open mold stuff that they're just slapping their logos on and picking a color scheme. I actually saw some of the Chamonix stuff in person. Dear God, the P-Tex on the bases just looked trash. Like, it looked like it was base burned when they were finishing it, and I was just like, that thing needs a stone grind. Kevin and I actually have a podcast video talking about that brand. I think we did that like January, February of 2019. So you can always check that out as well. All right. Cody Williams, any tips for revert carves? I am awful at revert carves. The best thing I can tell you to get ready for a revert carve, though, is practice popping off your toes and landing back on your toes switch. So like front side or backside 180, preferably a backside. I think that'll get you the better movement. So pop a backside 180, land back on your toes, and then drive it into a carve. And that'll teach you how to like be able to revert up and do it. It'll teach you the motion when you're switching the carve around. I really suck at revert carves. Like that is just something I am not. I suck at snowboarding. Like I suck really bad. But that is like something I really, really suck at. Okay. Let's see what else we got going on here. Water bottle. Is it bad that I made a suicide pact with a friend where if either of us die, the other has to snowboard head first into a tree? Well, here's the thing. If you die first, how do you know that he actually did it? You're dead. So if he dies first, he's dead, man. He doesn't know. Like, this is a non-binding argument. I mean, realistically, you can get out of it. The other person's dead. So, yeah. All right. Let's see. Some judo guy, McHugh. When will we see you do a video on the snow? I was actually talking with my friends Kobe and Lauren today, and I got to talk with Brucey, the old intern, and Travis, the old intern. I kind of want to do a squad ride through Peace Park at Copper because holy fuck, you guys have no idea like how progressive a Peace Park open to the public is. Like, I really, really want to put together a whole Peace Park edit with me and the guys hitting that because that just changes the dynamic of riding freestyle. And that is so in tune with the direction that I want to take my riding for 2020 and the direction I have to just due to injury and whatnot. That's going to do it. The other thing, if you're really curious on how I ride, I haven't posted the date yet. I'm trying to figure out exact, but I'm going to do something for A Basin, something for Copper. There's still something coming up for Powder Mountain. I just haven't locked the dates in, but we will be doing meetups, and you are all invited to come shred. So that, but I will warn you all, I am fucking horrible at snowboarding, and I look really stiff when I do it because the injuries have taken their toll on me, and I have to literally change my whole style of riding now in order to maintain the level that I can ride at. So I will be the first to tell you, I fucking suck. I own it. I don't even care. I'm not a fucking vlogger that's trying to be, look at me, and here I am traveling somewhere to do the same front three to a knuckle. That's not, I don't care. I've come to the conclusion now, after 20 plus years of riding, I have nothing left to prove in my snowboarding at all. I'm done with it. I am just going to get fucking weird and not care anymore. So yeah. All right. What else? Vincent Friera, does the Endeavor Archetype powderboard work well in various conditions from waist deep to groomers, or would you have a different recommendation for those super deep days? Oh no, that is my go-to, like 2+ feet board. I fucking love that. Is literally, I will say it again, I've said this numerous times, the best fucking powderboard on the market. Like, I've ridden a lot of powderboards, and there's a lot of great stuff, like amazing stuff. But that, if I had to only ride one powderboard the rest of my life, one regular shaped or one regular sized powderboard, it would be the Endeavor Archetype. You can rail turns with it. You can ride it anywhere. Like, I rode that before I left for New York after we got 4 feet of snow at Copper. 4 feet. I'm 6 foot. That means I'm like 2 feet above that snow. That was literally the only thing I wanted to ride. And that's it. That board is the best. So yes. Let's see what else we got going on here. Torchlight for the super chat. Rotation bindings are what, fam? For you, yes. Everyone else, no. Rotational bindings are for kooks, people that wear Rurocks and ride Gilsons, and probably buy Amazon goggles through Jonathan Buckhouse's affiliate links. Yeah. They're kook shit. They're kook shit. Next up from Nato the Potato. How fire resistant are snowboards, seeing as Australia is on fire right now? I'll tell you what, it takes more for them to completely burn, but once they get going, they fucking burn, dude. You be safe down there. I'm really sorry you guys are on fire. It's sad and depressing. Let's see what else. UK Bike Skills. I bought my lady a Lady's Choice canoe board as she's progressing from Be Nice ASIM. Good choice. It's a great choice. Unfortunately, the Lady's Choice is marketed as Jamie Anderson's board, and Jamie Anderson doesn't believe in vaccinations and that essential oils will cure cancer. So I hate the fact that she's making money off a royalty from that, because she's a horrible person. I have to literally fear being around her because unvaccinated people can kill me because I have no immune system. So yeah. All right. Okay. What else we got going on down here? Let's see. Let's see. Rye asks, what do you think about the Signal subscription program? So I love the concept of where the subscription thing is now. I was very skeptical of it when it started and seriously thought that this was like the death of Signal. I was like, oh my God, this is the end of it. But they are literally making this fucking work. And their new boards are fucking phenomenal. I need to get some of the new stuff for review, but the stuff that I have ridden, like the Yup and the Disruptor and shit like that, I think I rode the Park Series too. Phenomenal boards. But the concept of the subscription service, I think it fits people's needs. Like, if you're a broke-ass snowboard bum, you can't go and shell like $400 out right away. You know, you're struggling, but $25 a month, you can budget that. Like $25 a month, if you're just a snowboard bum or someone is like, oh, I just didn't eat out 2 days a week, and boom, there's my $25. Or, oh, I fucking drove Uber twice and there's my $25. You know, like you can make $25 to make that payment. I I really do believe in what they're doing, and I think subscription services are in snowboarding are still in their infancy, and we're going to actually see them start to pick up and stuff. Like, I would love to figure out how to make a subscription service. I don't know what the fuck I would sell, but if I could, well, I shouldn't say that. I've kind of made a subscription service. There's Angry Snowboarder VIP, but if I could make one that was like a tangible product, and I've toyed around with the idea of like having a shirt club or something like that, like the Angry Snowboarder shirt club, and like every month you got a new shirt. But right now I'm stretched too thin to like be designing a shirt every month and getting stuff in there. But Signal's subscription service is phenomenal. Yeah. All right, Richard Hurleman. Hi, Angry. How do you compare the Yes Standard to the Ride Machete? Well, first off, I wouldn't. They're in two like really separate categories, in my opinion. The Standard is more of like a high end all mountain freestyle twin, and the Machete is like a price point or mid price point true twin freestyle board. The biggest differences you're going to notice: camber profile, edge hold, the width of the boards. The Standard's going to be wider and it's going to be more stable. You're going to notice in the flex that the Machete is more playful. It's more forgiving. It's a park board. It's a great board, don't get me wrong, but the Standard is more like you can charge with it when you need to. You can go hit the park if you want to. It's going to be more stable just due to the width. It's a little more damp, stuff like that. So yeah. Dan Dimes, why is it so hard sometimes to find the edge angles of boards? Why don't they print them on the boards like Burton used to? It would be nice to know for self-running. Because most companies just run them at 90. Like, very few of them are actually beveling them right out the factory. Like, it's just, they might tell you they are, but if you actually take a straight edge and you actually measure it, it's probably 90 degrees. It's doing that. All right. Let's Drift 944. Heard you say Western New York. Ever been to Hunter? No. Hunter is not Western New York. Hunter is upstate or bordering on central, but it's really more upstate. Like Hunter is a fucking day drive to get where I'm from. So no. I think maybe once when I was really little, my parents took me to Hunter in the summer. So that's about it. Charles Snake, what do you do with all the boards you demo after you're finished? I throw them in a dumpster and contribute to the mass consumption and pollution of our planet. No, actually, almost, I would say probably like 98% of everything that's ever sent to me ends up going right back to the companies, or it goes back to the reps. A lot of the stuff I get is actually from the reps demo fleet, so they own it. So it just goes back to them. I don't keep anything, and the stuff that I do keep or that they tell me to keep usually ends up getting donated to the Shred Foundation. So if you haven't checked out shredfoundation.org, check it out. It's a great foundation that I truthfully believe is doing great things for snowboarding, because they don't just like take inner city kids up and take them snowboarding and then shove them back to the hood. They take them up, they teach them skills, they get them jobs at the mountain, they're teaching them careers in snowboarding, which is what we need to do. They're teaching them that like so many kids are told like to leave the hood, they got to be good at ball, they got to be a rapper, whatever. These kids are like, oh fuck, I could just like move west and like work in a shop and work my way up to buyer, and then I could work for a brand and shit. And I think that's absolutely fucking amazing. So I by and large do not keep almost everything that is sent to me. Like that shit, I'm not in this to keep shit. I don't care about free shit. There's other people out there that definitely care about getting free shit, so they can be like, look at me, I'm fucking sponsored. So, no, not my thing. Ryan Sigielski, do you like that new Jones movie, The Shelter? I haven't watched it. Saturday is, hopefully, depending on it, is going to be a stuff envelopes for Angry Snowboarder VIP, watch a bunch of all the new shred edits and everything that's coming up, and kind of just take like a mental health day. This has been a hellacious week. I actually got called in to work my old job. Put in an 11-hour day, had to unload 1,000 cases of booze yesterday. Still managed to get up and fucking go shred Peace Park, though. So, but yeah, basically, I'm going to hopefully watch everything and try to catch up on everything for the year. Let's see. Bottled and Cork with super chat. Hashtag Buckhouse's Skull Throne contribution fund. $2, 50 cal. I can almost afford one bullet for the 50 cal, so there we go. Yeah. Great American Buffalo, snowpocalypse or fire apocalypse? I've lived through so many snowpocalypses. Everyone's like, it's the end of days. You're going to be stuck inside. I'm like out there in my shorts shoveling out the steps like, it's going to be a powder day tomorrow. I should probably mount up my powder board. Yawn. Oh, all the roads are closed. I guess I'll just sleep in and wait till the resort is open. Then I'm there for first chair in the snowpocalypse. Fire apocalypse? Now that'd be warm and my arthritis probably wouldn't hurt, and I'm okay with that. So yeah. Gene Graves, volume shifted top 5. There already is one. If you check top 5s, you will see the volume shifted top 5s in there. So go check that out. Damien Kyle, is it worth the extra money? Oh, shit, that just jumped. Where is it? Where'd that go? Fuck. There it is. Is it worth the extra money for the Taos backslash versus the Slush slasher for resort pow trees and hitting natural features? No park. So both are really solid boards. The backslash is a little more versatile than the Slush slasher, in my opinion. But they're both solid. If you're on a budget and you're really just like trying to save it, but you want a fun like party board, just get the Slush slasher, man. You're gonna love it. You'll have no problems with that. All right. Kale Mitchell, best job in a shred mountain town, working for the resort in a decent position or working somewhere independent of the resort. So if you work for the resort, they give you the pass. They give you the pass. They basically own you, right? So you got to realize that they're gonna own you. It's a powder day. You want to call in sick and go shred? Nope, because they can check if your pass was scanned. Fired. Boom. Done. On top of the fact, most of the people that actually work decent jobs at the resort, they work at like a 9 to 5. So Monday through Friday, you're fucking working when you could be shredding. My personal theory is get a night job. Like go work fine dining as a server or bartender preferably. But, you get a place that opens at 4, so you're there at 3, which means you can shred all morning. And you're probably done by 10, 11 at the latest. So you're out before midnight. So by the time you unwind, it's midnight. You can get to sleep, wake up, get first chair. And I've got friends that are literally making almost 6 figures just bartending. And as long as you don't have a cocaine habit or alcoholism, you'll be fine with it. Like the reason I worked the liquor store for 4 years was I didn't come in till 3 or 4 o'clock every day that I worked. So I got to shred. I never missed a powder morning. I was done between 10 and 11 every night. So I live 2 blocks away. I was home, in 5 minutes. So it's like not a long commute. And it was a great job. Like you get to meet everyone around town, everyone from the shops and stuff. Because let's be honest, most people that work in shops are alcoholics. And so, as an enabler, but like anytime I need free tune work or I need a discount on something or whatever, I can go in and I know them and they always hook it up and take care of me. And that's a good one. Night stocking or night audit, if you're a night owl person and you don't go to sleep like right after your shift, like my roommate works night audit, so he's done between 7 and 8. He can catch first chair and he's like, he'll go up and catch first chair, like shred for like 2 hours and come home and go to bed. But I mean, he gets 2 good solid hours of POW and stuff like that. I think there's a lot of great jobs outside the resort that really understand letting you have a career and shred. But like when you work for a resort, especially super corporate ones, they might let you take a ride break, but you're looking at like an hour, maybe 2, versus some jobs will be like, oh yeah, just do a split shift, or if as long as the work's done, the work's done. So yeah, there you go. Jacob Gravitt, do you think it would be a good idea to ski bum in Jackson Hole? I think, well, no, we're snowboard bums, first of all, not ski bums. Fuck being a ski bum. If you're a skier, get the fuck out of here. No. If you want to bum around, pick where you want to be, but you need to understand the cost of living is probably going to be sky high, far more than anything you're used to. I mean, like on the levels of living in San Francisco. The wages are going to be really shit. Most people, when you first move there in your first year, are probably going to be dicks to you if they're a long-time established local. They're just not your cup of tea. It's going to be hard as fuck to find housing. So like what I tell people is first, last deposit. have at least $3,600 for rent, and make sure you probably got 2 months rent just to float on. Like realistically, I tell people you probably want like $6,000 to $8,000 to move with just to be safe, unless you got someone that's got their foot in the door, you got like a couch to crash on. Make sure you line up your job before you get there and get it in writing what they are going to pay you. This happened to me at Stevens Pass. I had a lot of experience and went to work in their rental shop, and they pretty much made it out like I was going to be working in their tune shop, which I was like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I've got a lot of experience with this. I mean, I was a store manager for a ski and snowboard shop that had been around for 30 plus years. I was the store manager for the American store, and I worked with our Canadian store. And I came in and they were like, yeah, I think we could get you, like at the time, I think minimum wage was like $6 or something. They're like, I think we can get you to like $10 to $12 an hour. And I was like, okay, yeah. Like I figured I'd start at 10 and have to prove myself after 90 days to get 12. I showed up and my check was fucking minimum wage my first time. Like I started right before Christmas, worked 2 weeks. My first fucking paycheck was minimum wage on Christmas Eve. I walked in, I was like, what is this shit? And they're like, well, it's this, this, and this. And I was like, I fucking quit. And what? I fucking quit. You can't quit. You're going to tell me I can't quit? I'm fucking done. I punched out right in front of them and I was like, I'm done. You lied to me. You lied to my fucking face. And they're like, well, you have to do this, this, and this. And I was like, I was not told that. I was told I would be starting this. You were starting people that have never lived in a mountain town. You're paying them the exact same wage you're paying me, but I have more experience and I'm training them. Fuck you, I quit. So always get that in writing. Also, there's a lot of like Craigslist scams and shit. So if you can, go out to where you want to move, do it the Airbnb thing or whatever, lock in your housing, sign contracts, everything. Like do not leave without a key, like make sure or whatever, like make sure it is dialed 100%. Like you have got that. And just understand like your cost of living is insane. Like for years, 80% of my income was just like rent and basic living expenses like utilities and everything. Like 80%, I was living on 20%. So always be prepared for that. But if you can be a snowboard bum, I think everyone should do it. Whether you do it for 1 year, you do it for 20 years. But also understand the dark side of it too. There's a lifestyle and connotations that come with it. Like alcoholism is rampant, drug abuse is rampant, domestic violence, mental health is not good. So you got to be prepared for this. And like, it's a change of life. There's a lot of isolation. Like everyone thinks like, oh, shred all day and fucking work and then party all night. And yeah, you can do that for maybe a year or two. And then, a lot of people that are like in their late 40s or early 50s, especially around here, that don't own a house and are still renting, fucking that's what they did. And like, it's sad to see someone that's in their 50s or 60s working 3 jobs just to survive. You got to make sure that you have a plan, stick to the plan, understand like that you don't want to fall into the pitfalls of it. Like that's something that really, really does happen. And, I've seen it. Like we have a saying around here in Breckenridge. It's like, oh, you got wrecked, or that person got wrecked. They wrecked themselves and wrecked themselves, and you got to make sure that that does not happen to you. So always just be cognizant of that. If you have addictive personality or you have mental health issues, moving to the mountains is not always the best case scenario. It's very never land, and people will just continuously enable you. There's also a lot of shit toxic people. So you have to learn like who the shit toxic people. Like I have a very, very small friends group, and it is very hard for me to want to be your friend. Like I look at people and I'm like, you are toxic as fuck. Or, like I remember I went on a date with this chick and we were sitting there talking, and I was just in the back of my head, I was like, this chick has 2 years in this town. And I warned her, like, I was like, yeah, you just moved here. Like, be careful of this, this, and this. 3 months into it, raging cokehead, alcoholic, fucking like 2.5 years like that, convinced her ex-boyfriend to move out and live with her. Fucking, they broke up and she ended up with some other dude, and it was fucking, and then she ended up just burning out and moving away. And like, I remember her being like, I'm going to live here for fucking ever. And I'm like, you got about 2 years in you max, like I've lived the shred town life for so long, and like, I don't know anything else. I don't want to move anywhere and start over. So yeah, hopefully that answers your guys' questions. Let's see what else we got going on here. Diego Chavez, thanks for the recommendation on the LibTech terrain wrecker by night. Think I'm getting too old for such a lively board. My knees feel everything after doing runs with that board. It could be the camber profile as well in that. I mean, it is a lively board, don't get me wrong. You might need something a little more cam rocker probably, or camber, and something a little more damp. So, I mean, if you stick with a LibTech, maybe go to like a C3 profile versus that C2, C2X, C2E. That'll get rid of like such the hinge point in the middle, and it won't be as damp or as lively underfoot and stuff like that. Otherwise, maybe moving over to like a Jones or a Yes, something that's got that cam rocker profile to it would help you. Let's see. All right. Let's see. Basinja. Hot take. Do you think that shop kids selling people and gear that doesn't cater to the customer's needs because they want free gear is an equal contributor to shops going out of business to online shop? Oh, yeah, no. Like, this is something I've said for years. Like, and we'll go back to story time. This is an old story I did on an angry late night. But if you can't, like, gauge a customer by asking height, weight, boot size, riding preferences, how much time they ride, where they ride, what they want performance-wise, and what 3 boards they've previously owned to gauge what direction to put it in, and you're just getting a kickback from a rep to move product, you're putting them in the wrong product. If you put them in the wrong product, their experiences diminish. And if they diminish, they want to ride less. They want to tell people less about snowboarding. So it moves everything further back along those lines. And by doing that, you get less people being return customers, repeat customers, people telling people to buy stuff, bringing new people to you. So it diminishes everything in it. And it reminds me of this kid, Curtis, we hired at this one shop I worked at. So Curtis's background was fine art sales. And he was in some crazy snake cults, and like he could only work certain hours. And I don't fucking know. Religion is stupid. But anyways, he showed up to his first day in a fucking suit. And that dude would literally, he was slick in how he would sell things, but he didn't know his ass from a hole in the ground. And we literally, for 2 weeks, we were trying to hammer into him how to sell stuff, and he wouldn't listen to us. It was all about commission to him, commission, and stuff. And mind you, this kid was riding a 10-year-old Burton Custom where everyone in the shop, like we were all getting Flowbroad stuff from different companies. We had good deals. Like we were getting deals on stuff. Like we were all riding new stuff. And this kid was just riding ancient ass shit, which tells you right away that he doesn't know how to fucking shred and he doesn't care. But it got to the point, like, this chick I was working with, Kim, who was an Olympic athlete at one point in her career, she caught him straight up. He sold a 163 wide Burton Custom with a size small binding to a guy that had a size 9 boot and was 130 pounds. That guy, one, the binding didn't fit his boot, and 2, she caught him doing that. She returned everything in front of him, sold the guy the proper setup, and apologized profusely. And when I found out, I came in and chewed that kid a new fucking ass, because at the time, we were the #1 snowboard shop in Summit County. Like, we had the biggest wall, the best deals, and we had the best staff. And we all, like all of us that had worked there for a while, like even our weakest link, which was this guy, Deaf Steve, he was our weakest link only because he's impeded by his deafness. Steve was a good guy, but look, we took care of Steve. Like, we would just explain to people, like, make eye contact, talk to him, or we would go finish the sale so Steve could get the commission. Like, we would take care of him. Curtis was so fucking bad. Like, our managers had multiple talks with him about how bad he was and how he was hurting our reputation and shit. And he's like, I just want to be like this. And we were like, you're not, dude. You're not good at this. You're like, maybe you need to go work at Sports Authority. Like, that's how fucking bad it was. Let's see. Pablo asks, hey, Angry, is the Union Atlas good to pair with the Hyper Kiara for free riding? So the Atlas will be a little bit of a stiffer binding matching up with the Flex on the Hyper Key Arv. So you're going to get a little more response from your boot binding combination, which is going to translate to better power transmission when you're rolling from toe to heel in there. So just be expected that you can overpower the board with that being a stiffer binding, but I think it would actually match up to it. Let's see. Okay. It's 4:05. I know we started this chat a little late. I'm going to give you guys about 5 more minutes because I want to make it to happy hour and hopefully get a seat and get some fucking tacos. And then obviously I'll be back at 6:30 for that live stream as well. Let's see what else. So let's see what else. Okay. Stefan H. Any advice for T-Rise Pro size for 195 pounds with 10.5 boots for ripping around the East Coast and on horrid ice conditions? So if you're looking at the T-Rise Pro and you're ripping around, you got 2 options. You got the blunt, which is like the more freestyle one, because you could do the 57.5. But I think realistically that 61.5 would probably be better for the East Coast for you, even though it's the more free ride oriented one. It's just going to grip a little bit better. So I think if you wanted to go a little more freestyle focused, you could get the 57.5 blunt, but otherwise go for the 61.5 pointy tip. Let's see. Young Gersh, you've probably already got this a lot, but are you going to get on a GNU Fun Guy this year? I probably won't, in all honesty. I am probably about 2 weeks away from getting 2021 stuff. I haven't even talked to my local rep, who is really good about getting me all the GNU and LibTech stuff about it. I doubt he even has one in his fleet. So, yeah, unfortunately, from what I've been told, it's a slightly stiffer Orca. I don't know if that's true. I haven't seen one in person yet even. I think Gravity at Copper is going to get one for sale, but I don't think they're going to have one in the demo fleet. If they do get one in the demo fleet, there might be a slim chance I'd hop on one. But yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. Steve, okay. Getting some weird pain in the side of my left foot. Feels like it's pressing against the binding. I ride goofy, messing with angles for spread. What do you think? So this could be a few things. It could be your stance width is too far and you're basically pronating out and putting pressure on it. It could be your angle is too aggressive as well as your stance is too wide and putting pressure on it. It could just be the angle is too wide. It could also be that you compressed your footbed in there or you don't have a good footbed, so it's compressed and it's putting it pressure out there. The other thing is the liner could have packed out and you don't have any padding in there anymore, so you're just basically pressing right into the shell in there. You could also have some slight nerve damage. You might not have proper arch support, so your foot is sliding in there. Those would be all things that I would probably address to get that fixed. If you haven't checked out the Boot Fitting 101 series, go back through it, or do go to it and check it out, see if there's anything in there. Yeah. John Thompson, have you looked into the Cardiff snow shapes? Thought you'd enjoy the boards. I have. I've seen them. I know they're made at GP87. I just haven't reached out to them to get on any to test out. I really do like what they're doing. They have some really unique shapes. I'd really like to ride one, so hopefully I will be able to at some point hop on one and check it out. Raul Duke with the $10 super chat. Thanks, boss. Let's see. Blee McGee, have you ever rode a New Mexico ski area? No, I was actually contemplating going down to Taos and Red River this weekend, but I don't think that's going to happen. So, yeah. It's on the list to get down to Taos, but we're about to get a bunch of snow up here, so I want to smash some POW up here. Hopefully sometime this month maybe I'll make it down there. Let's see. Jesse Johnson, I saw your video about not getting cheap Amazon goggles because of long-term vision damage. What do you think about Anon? I like the idea of the M5 face mask, or is that just gimmicky? So Anon makes some great goggles. I get the idea of the magnetic face mask. What I've seen in person, it's still kind of slightly questionable. It's more of a gimmick, I think, than anything. Because the way like I would wear a face mask, that wouldn't correlate. I also think I've had a few friends tell me that it actually trapped a bunch of moisture and caused the goggles to fog over. So that's something else that you have to look at. So right now, I really wouldn't bother with it. The 1142, is the Mercury that much more aggressive than the DOA? They've got a 157 Mercury at my local shop for 20 off, but I'm 160 pounds, 10.5 size boot, strong intermediate. No, actually, the Mercury, in my opinion, is a little less aggressive than the DOA. Although I did ride the new DOA, so I've got a video of that review coming out. I think my opinion of that has kind of changed. I feel like they maybe mellowed it out a little bit. Like the DOA is just a twin Mercury, almost in my opinion. Now, actually, I really like the new DOA, but yeah, no. If you can get 20% off, that 57 will fit you. You're a strong intermediate rider. Get it. You're going to be able to progress to a strong expert level rider, in my opinion. So yeah, I'm going to take two more questions here. Let's see what else we got going on here. Okay. Adrian Ellis, is the new Rome Buckshot Poppy. I'm 5'9", 205 pounds. Currently, I ride the Yes 2018-19 on ink grades 156, and after 60 days, I feel it's like a noodle now. Ride a lot of park. Thanks, from Canada. So the Buckshot is super poppy, but the thing is that board's going to break in just like you're on ink, and you're going to feel like it's too noodly. What I would suggest instead is to look at the new Rome Agent, because it's just as poppy as the Buckshot, but it's a little stiffer. And in my opinion, it won't decamber or noodle out. And I know for 2021, or at least this is what I was told, so I'm going with I believe this, that the Buckshot will be gone and the Agent will replace it. So I would go look at the new Agent instead. Okay. Mill City Shogun. Hey, Angry, love the live streams. How do you know when to downsize? Getting the box knife in 157, my natural size, but don't know what would be the reason to go down to a 54. You're going to change the swing weight on the board on that, so it's going to be able to spin around a little bit easier. Also, just with the way that board rides, it just feels like it locks in when it's a little bit smaller, like you can really stabilize on it and stuff like that. So the big thing is it's going to change the swing weight of it, and it's also going to just be easier to engage the pop on it. If you're a 57 and you're really worried about, like, the box knife is what I call one of those like medium volume shifted boards. So like if you're on the cusp, you can get away with like riding your normal size on it. Let's see. All right. Actually, I think I'm going to call it on this live stream. I'll be back at 6:30 Mountain Standard Time. We'll do some more Q&As, maybe drop a few stories in there. But thanks again for all the support. I hope you guys are having a happy new year. We really want to make 2020 something really special for you. In the next live stream, I'm going to talk about phase 2 of what we're doing with Angry Snowboarder on YouTube, really kind of discuss it. If you haven't checked out the top 5 New Year's resolutions you've already broken video, go give that a like, go give it a watch, check that out. As always, thanks again for all the support, guys. I look forward to seeing you guys at 6:30 in the live stream.